Hey everybody, welcome to episode 11 of the Burly Nathan Show. I am your host and MC, Burly Nathan. How'd you tell? It's me. Who else would it be? If there was somebody else hosting this, that would be very weird. I've actually thought about doing like a random show where just somebody who we don't say is the host for a day, or a takeover show. We'll see if that happens eventually, but for right now, it's me. Hey everybody, we're back after a little hiatus. It has been a wild few months. And I know we left you kind of on a cliffhanger with our very last episode, but now I'm back, and I wanted to give you guys a bit of an update about why there was this little lapse in the show, what's been going on, different things that are going on in my life and in the lives of people around me, and I want to tease some cool shows, some stuff that's coming up across the board, and so let's dig right on into it. The very first thing that everybody should know, if they are a listener of my show, is our amazing sponsor, adamandeve.com. adamandeve.com, I have to tell you, has been one of my favorite sponsors for years and years and years. And if you don't know what adamandeve.com is, I'm about to tell you. If you like adult things, if you're into sexy things to buy for yourself, for your partners, whoever, adamandeve.com has everything you will ever need for any of that. If you go to adamandeve.com and you use promo code BURLY, that's BURLY, at checkout, you'll get 10 free gifts, free shipping, and 50% off any item that you can find in the store. There's lots of cool, sexy things that people might enjoy there. So it's great for gift giving. It's great to just buy for yourself. I've actually had some friends that have been on there recently and they forgot about my promo code. And how dare you? How dare you forget about that code? A portion of the proceeds from every sale used with that code goes directly to my show, helps keep the lights on in here. I can afford better equipment and bring on cool guests and be able to give away gifts and things. So anyway, adamandeve.com, feel free to go there, buy whatever cool, sexy things you want. Use promo code BURLY, BURLY, at checkout. Do not forget to use that. You'll get free, discreet shipping. There won't be a giant box that says dildos in here. It will be very discreet. For you to buy whatever the heck you want. I've used them for years and years on previous podcasts. I still use them to this day to buy gifts for myself and my friends, and not my family, but my friends. So go there, buy all the cool swag, and make sure you let them know that I sent you by using promo code BURLY. That's adamandeve.com. The other thing that I want to actually throw out there, I don't have a promo code for this yet, so this is kind of like a quick tease, but my friends over at Aspirations Winery just dropped their new online store. I helped build a brand new website for Aspirations Winery, and we just launched the brand new online store. So I would absolutely love if people can go there, buy some cool things. Starting with the next episode, there will be a promo code that you can use to get a discounted wine shipped directly to your house. So go to aspirationswinery.com. They're a great winery based here in Clearwater, Florida. And I'm actually drinking some of it tonight. Tonight, my drink of choice is their Peachy Weather, which has become my favorite wine. I was not a wine person until I started doing shows there, and Bill, the owner, said, I'm going to make a wine guy out of you. So he gave me 12 different bottles of wine to struggle through, and I made my way, and I found that the Peachy Weather is my absolute favorite. Also love their Swamp Juice, which sounds kind of weird, but I promise you it's fantastic. They've got some great sangrias too. People who have done shows with me there have tried their wines and things, and they can attest that they are fucking amazing. So feel free to go to aspirationswinery.com, click the shop button at the top, and go fill that cart up with some wine. You can also join their Club Wino, which gets you discounts on multiple shipments. So go there, let them know once again that Burly Nathan sent you. If you talk to Bill, tell him Nathan sent you. He'll either give you a great deal or he'll tell you to go fuck yourself. So you'll find out once you make the order. aspirationswinery.com and click shop. All right. So what the hell else has been going on? So we have a few shows that I want to promote that myself and other folks are doing, and I'm just going to be self-indulgent for a few minutes. If you are in the Tampa Bay, Florida area and you'd like to come see my dumb ass perform, you can do so in a variety of ways on Sunday, May 19th. That's coming up this week. Sunday, May 19th at Speakeasy Lounge in Ybor City. The Graveyard Cabaret, which is a phenomenal cabaret put on every other Sunday by the amazing Rogue River, my great friend Rogue River. Go check out the Graveyard Cabaret. This will be my third time performing in this show. I think I might be up there with some of them. I want to be like a part of the 5-timers club like they have in Saturday Night Live, that when I've been there 5 times, I get a fucking smoking jacket with a giant 5 on it. I'm so close. But go there this weekend, Sunday. The show starts, I believe, at 7 o'clock. get in, get your tickets, and get your seat because the place fills up fast for this show. It's always sold out. There's always a billion people there. So I'm telling anybody who's coming to see the show, get your tickets and show up. It's going to be a great show. I believe it's myself. My great friend Emma Jewell is performing, and I've performed with Emma a bunch of times too. Emma's great, River, and Alistair Graves, of course. So it's going to be a jam-packed night. I'm doing 2 brand new acts that I've never done before. One of them involves opera, and one of them involves Disney. So I will let you guys deduce what that might be. But I'm going a little bit out of my comfort zone on this one when it comes to Disney, so that's all I'll say. The next show that I've got is Out on the Range, which is a Broadway cabaret on Tuesday, June 11th at the James Museum of Western and Wildlife Art here in St. Pete. I am doing a 2-hour Broadway cabaret based on like country tunes, which will be very interesting. I'll be taking some Broadway songs that people know and giving them a bit of a country twang. My friend Jessica, you might know as Poppy Bubbles, is going to be performing with me during that show as well. So come see that. One of my favorite tunes I'll be doing ever will be happening there. So come out and check it out. That is Tuesday, June 11th. I believe the show starts at 5:30 or 6. I should probably know my specifics a bit better. But anyway, it's at the James Museum of Western and Wildlife Art in St. Pete, Florida. So be sure to get your tickets for that. I believe they're only $10, so come on out. It's going to be a 2-hour show. Ton of fun. Right after that is a very exciting opportunity that I did not expect to get, but here we are. St. Pete Pride's Friday night concert, which is happening at Janus Live on Friday, June 21st. Yours truly will be opening with a bunch of great performers for the RuPaul's Drag Race winner, Sasha Colby. I can't speak tonight. I promise it's not the wine. I'll be opening for Sasha with a bunch of other performers too. I'll be performing a set of great songs. So hopefully you guys can come out to see that. That's Friday, June 21st. That's during St. Pete Pride weekend here. And that's at Janus Live, which I've always wanted to perform at Janus Live. It's a huge, huge venue, and I'll finally get to do that. And then finally, the last show that I'm going to mercilessly promote is my birthday show. On Saturday, July 13th at Aspirations Winery, I'm doing my birthday roast and burlesque show. We've got 5 amazing burlesque performers coming out, 5 roasters, some great singers, and our full band will be performing to benefit the Aspirations Winery performance space so we can turn it into the show place we've always wanted. So we're so very, very excited about that. So that's Saturday, July 13th at 8 o'clock p.m. at Aspirations Winery. You can get your tickets at aspirationswinery.com/roast. Tickets are a suggested donation of $20, but you can, if you need to pay less, if you want to pay more, you are more than welcome to. So feel free to get your tickets to that Aspirations Winery. I can't say W's today. aspirationswinery.com/roast. Get your tickets now and come see me. It's going to be so much fun. We got a lot of great people. Poppy Bubbles will be hosting that. It's going to be a wild day. A few more quick little updates. One of the reasons why I have been kind of quiet is I've been in the middle of a job transition. So that's been happening soon. So that's been very interesting, as well as my weight loss journey. We are down now 45 pounds. Hip-de-doo. I've got a goal of about 20 more to lose within the next few months and before my birthday. So we shall see, but we are feeling good. I always like to say this on the show. I have no shame of being a large man, and if you are a large person of any shape, size, whatever, you are valid, you are welcomed, and you are loved. Your worth does not come from your appearance, and I have had to learn that over the years. But I'm doing this now to be healthier and to get, to try something new in my life and try to not just be one way. I'm trying to prove to myself that I can do certain things, and this is one of them. So it's a journey for me. I will always be the big guy. People were actually asking me, will my name still be Burly Nathan after I lose weight? And it will always be. My frame does not, I will never be a small guy. No matter what my frame looks like, I will never be a small guy. So Burly Nathan it will always be. But if you are in the middle of a weight loss journey, I'd be happy to chat with you. I do not give advice on it because I think it's, when people give unwarranted weight loss advice, I think it's tacky. I will not do that. But if you need some inspiration and you want somebody to be there for you, to cheer you on along the way, I'm happy to do that. You can follow me at Burly Nathan anywhere and just reach out to me anytime. I do want to give a shout out to my great friends over at You Dream Events. They're in a great event company here in the Tampa Bay area and beyond, and I'm actually drinking wine out of it today. A couple weeks ago, me and a group of our performers were the entertainment for the Los Vinos de Dali event at the Dali Museum in St. Pete. And it was an incredible event. It was so well done by the folks over at UDream and their vendors that they brought out. And I just wanted to give a great shout out to them. I know some of them might be listening to the show. Christina and your team, you were amazing. Our performers had such a great time at this event. The Salvador Dali Museum is incredible. Dali it was Dali's birthday was, I believe, just a couple days ago, his 120th birthday. And I know that they're running deals right now on entrance to get in. So go to the Dali and support all of their amazing events there. But Los Vinos de Dali was great. I got to be opposite my friend Jessica, and we were just hedonists for the night. We got to sit in the dome at the Dali and eat grapes and drink wine for 4 hours straight. And I got to say, that was one of the greatest gigs of my entire life. And I will do it again next year if they ask. It was so much fun. So let's see. I've talked about that. Talked about Aspirations Winery. Oh, one more shout out that I wanted to give is for my friends over at Little Bracket of Horrors. This amazing podcast is so much fun. I was on it a couple weeks ago. They did an episode on Paranormal Activity. They review and they talk about horror movies and shows. And they recently just did one on the movie Paranormal Activity. And they invited me on to the show, and I had such a great time. You should go follow that show, Little Bracket of Horrors. You can find them on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Little Bracket of Horrors. You can tune in and listen to the episode that I was on and listen to other episodes of their incredible show. I had such a great time, and you will love the show. All right, I'm trying to think if there's any other things. Oh, I do want to tease our upcoming guests. Obviously, today is episode 11 with my great friend Ruby Rubright, but we are on episode 12 and 13. I'll be inviting another Ruby, my great friend who I've done burlesque shows with for many, many years, Ruby Tesla. She and I go way, way back, and I'm so excited. She actually used to be one of the contributors on my adult entertainment podcast we had years ago, where we would talk about all things adult and sexy, and Ruby was on that a bunch. And then episode 13 is with another friend of mine, a new friend of mine that I've met over these last year or so, and I have worked with her on stage in Orlando, Miss Magenta Magic. She and I have done a couple shows together now. I emceed her debut Britney Spears burlesque show over in Orlando, and it was so much fun. I enjoyed it a ton, and she's going to come on and chat. She's another fellow singer as well, so I'm excited to talk with her and learn more about what she is up to. So as I have now rambled on for almost 13 minutes, the last thing I will say is be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave reviews for my show, The Burly Nathan Show. You can leave reviews on every platform, on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you happen to be listening. You can even listen on your Alexa. If you say, Alexa, listen, and I'm saying it low because I have one in my house, and every time I say this, it'll start playing the show, and that's annoying. But you can listen to it on Alexa. You can ask your Apple Watch to play the show. Lots of ways you can listen, but then once you've listened, leave a review. If you loved the show, leave a 5-star review. If you hated the show, leave a 5-star review, but call me whatever name you want to in that review. I don't care. At least it's 5 stars. So do that. Help me promote the show. Help me get the show out there. And if there's anything you ever want to hear, or if you have a guest that you'd like me to bring on, you can find me at Burly Nathan on Instagram, TikTok, all the different places, Grindr, Tinder. Anywhere you can find me under Burly Nathan, I am there. All right, well, that is absolutely enough of me. I have rambled far more than I should, and I cannot wait. My guest tonight is a great friend of mine, and she and I have gotten to know each other over the last year or so in a variety of different ways, and in a variety of different projects, and I had to have her on the show, and I'd love to welcome my great friend, Ruby Rubright. How are you, my dear?
I am doing well tonight, and I've heard that you're doing well also, so that's good to hear.
I am here. I'm happy to be chatting with you. We are super thrilled to have you here on the show, and I know you and I have been friends for a minute, and we've done some stuff together. And I'm like, you know what? When I bring the show back for the second round of 10 episodes, I want you to be on the first one back. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here. I've never actually been on a podcast before.
Oh, really? Is this your very first podcast? Oh, wow,
this is
damn.
my very first podcast. So you popped that amazing cherry, Nathan. How about that?
Yay! Another cherry pop. So that's great. I love that. So for my listeners who maybe don't know who you are, introduce yourself and tell me what you do.
Of course. My name is Ruby Rubright, and I am a burlesque performer here in Lakeland with the Moxie La Femme troupe. Moxie La Femme has been running since, I believe, it's been 17 years this year. Not exactly sure of the math, but you can figure that out on your own.
Wow.
Yes, I've been running ever since. It's been fun. I've been a part of it the last 2, running on 3 years now. But that wasn't really my beginning into burlesque and stage performance itself.
I know you mentioned to me earlier that your story of getting into this is a bit different and not super traditional. So I want to hear all about that, because some of this I may not actually know personally.
Right. So yeah, it's not really the conventional how I've gone through a conservatory, or I've actually had, a burlesque mother to say, so to speak. I started my journey in the gay bars here in Lakeland. It was Club Main Street back when Club Main Street was running. And at the time, it was called the Pulse, the Lakeland Pulse, but now it is known as the Parrot. Just the Parrot. It used to be the Green Parrot back in the 80s. This was the first gay bar of Florida. And that's where I got my start, but that was back in 2016. And that was with a drag queen who is, I believe, the mother of Frankie Markstone. Do not exactly quote me on that, but Frankie Markstone is it's Danny Danica Panic of
great.
the Panic household. If you know Addison Panic, then you know the Panics.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it all is tied back into the burlesque community, though I was not in the burlesque community itself. I didn't call myself, a drag queen or a drag presenting. It was more of I'm a performer. I did have more burlesque feel and ties in my routines and numbers and in my costumes. But of course, I didn't have, anybody else really around at the time, because Lakeland, it's not as open, you could say. Yeah, so I didn't necessarily present myself as a burlesque dancer. I was kind of just a performer, because, there wasn't that guidance from an actual burlesque performer. So I didn't necessarily call myself that, but I wouldn't say that I didn't do anything in that sense, in that realm,
Gotcha. So what was the original, to get into this type of art form and this kind of performing, what was the catalyst for you to go, yeah, this is something that I want to do?
Well, with my life, I was about 3 or 4 years old, and my parents were friends with people who had a band. My mom specifically, one of her girlfriends was the front woman for a folk band. And when I was about 3 or 4 years old, they would let me be on stage, and my mom's friend would hand me a tambourine. And so I would just play the tambourine, and my parents and their friends and everyone would just freak out on stage. And I was like, wow. And I remember thinking, yeah, I want this forever. So then it turned into dance class, ballet and tap. I did a little bit of jazz too. That was for a few years. And then in middle school, it's when I started playing trumpet. And then I was in the band in school, and then all the way through on high school. And I just kept with the trumpet and played in a fringe festival for the show in 2017, that was. Nice. As far as wanting to perform at this, burlesque level, for me, it started when I watched Gypsy Lee Rose. It was at my Nana's house. I was in high school at some point, and she didn't really know much about it either. There's nothing really to ask, but I was just very enthralled with it all. And then after high school, I realized that there was a Rocky Horror Picture Show here in Lakeland, and one of my other friends was a dear friend through childhood who became a drag queen here locally, and I believe they're still performing up in Cape Cod now.
Nice.
They were like, you're coming with me to this first rehearsal, and I was like, okay. I didn't really let myself have a choice. I was just like, okay, I'll go. And automatically they're like, yes, you are an usherette. And they were like, you have to make your own costume. And I was like, I have to make my own costume. And then it like clicked that, oh yeah, I love collaging anyway, that art form. And for me, in my head, a costume is just a collage of different materials that end up working together that create a new piece of art that you're wearing, that you're going to take off. And I found that to be so beautiful. And after Rocky in 2015, I didn't really do much. I was still a young girl. I was 18, still here. Wasn't even in Lakeland yet, in a little town called Mulberry. 2016, I did Rocky Horror again, but I felt a little more confident in, myself as
Sure.
someone who can, make my own costumes and learn and remember lines and retain lines and say them.
Right.
So that year I was a female Rocky and Columbia for the
Nice.
Rocky Horror Picture Show here in Lakeland. And from there, because we were doing a lot of promo in the gay bars, all around town, I just started talking to all the queens that I could. And Catherine Nevitz, she's another big drag queen around here, the Tampa area as well. I believe she also does some stuff in Orlando. She's amazing, great mentor. She's had me before I went ahead and auditioned for Moxie. I was a part of the Legends crew, which was an illusionist show. So it would be Catherine Nevitz and Danny Panic, and then they would bring in other, like they would have Justaria Sherrington, I believe, at some point. They would have Daphne Ferrero. They would have lots of other good named big stars, and we would perform in St. Pete. We'd perform here in Lakeland for what they call Legends, a Night of Illusions.
I think I've actually heard of that show, and I've always wanted to see that. It seems like a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. And before the venue went under and we couldn't use it anymore, they were going to I was going to do Judy Garland in one of these illusionist shows, but alas, that didn't necessarily pan out. But that was a fun concept to rehearse for and really wrap my head around.
Have you ever gotten to do that act before for anything?
No, I haven't, but it's something like I sing at karaoke, other various Judy Garland songs. I don't know what was, I felt very bold one day in these Legends rehearsal or meetings, and Queen was like, I don't know who else, we could have, and I was like, I could do Judy Garland, and Sarah Ray.
Something you throw out there.
I was like, I don't know what I was, feeling. I was feeling something. So I was
Boldness
like,
is
Judy
great.
Garland. And Sarah Ray, who is Isla Blue from Moxie La Femme, who was also in with the Legends group, she was like, yes, she can. Yes, she can. And then Catherine Nevitz is like, okay, girl, then sing. Do it.
He's like,
gave a
go.
Gave a little of the trolley song, and they were like, yeah, so she'll be Judy Garland. I was like, okay.
All right, well, now that I know this, you just created a dangerous scenario for yourself, because now that I know this,
bring it on. I'm dying. I'm dying over
Good.
here.
Well, hey, I love Judy Garland, and anything we can do to have a little bit of a nod to the golden age of cinema and golden age of theater, then absolutely, fuck it. So we'll make it
with
happen.
my high starch collar and my high top shoes, I will be there. Okay.
I've played that song many a time for shows, and you should absolutely do it. Yeah, we will put a pin in that. Now that I know, I made a note. So, you done fucked up there. All right, that's great. Well, I love origin stories like this because it's interesting. I've spoken with a lot of performers, not only in burlesque, but in just like drag and MCs and whatnot. And I love hearing that they were kind of like accidentally involved in burlesque or accidentally got themselves into this performing world. And it's very interesting to see how many people accidentally did this or came in a different avenue and are still doing it. And I know obviously you've worked mostly with Moxie, and I know, and if you can explain to our listeners, because the way that you guys do burlesque shows there is very different than how they do in a lot of other places due to the laws of the area. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how you guys do shows with Moxie and Lakeland?
Of course. Okay, so Blue Law is actually, let me pull it up so I'm not getting anything wrong.
Yeah, it's a very complex scenario and situation, and the way that you guys do the shows obviously satisfies a lot of that and how it works. But I've always been intrigued because I've seen a couple Moxie shows, and I know many of the folks that are in it. I mean, big fans of shout outs to the Carters and to Ramcat and Buttercup, and they're all amazing folks. And when I saw that you were doing it, and I know you just did the where you got to play trumpet in one of the shows, which was very exciting to see, and also
and I will be playing trumpet in an upcoming show too. So yeah, everyone listening, beware. June 14th with Miss Magenta Magic.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
For her birthday show, so I'll be doing that.
She'll actually be on to promote that. So yes, tell me the Blue Law stuff.
Awesome. Yes. So Blue Law, you're only allowed to show about 50% of your ass. Only 50% of ass. And I believe it's the same ratio for boob as well. So no pasties, no thongs. It's bikini, pretty much. That's our range. Same thing for men. I mean, obviously boobs don't so much apply to them. If this were a perfect world, But, the way that we do Moxie, I find it to be a production, an entire production, and not just, I do love the way that the Orlando troops do it, where, it's like 5 solos, break, 5 solos, done. A little talking here and there. But Moxie is a real treat because you've got a group number, you've got solo, you've got trio, you've got solo, break. You've got, there's always a group number, a lot of solos scattered, another group number, and then the intermission. And then it starts up with another group number as another opener. More solos, and then we have a closer. Which is
that's great. I mean, I love that format because it's. I mean, I don't want to say that burlesque shows can become rather predictable, but I mean, they can. And like, I love going out and seeing one where it's completely different than the norm. Where it's, I mean, like I said, not knocking on the ones that are 5 intermission 5, whatever.
Of course.
But it's I will always get super verklempt of my own when I see a group number because I know how much work it takes. And to put together a great opening number and midway number and closer, like that's great, and I mean I love that stuff. So bravo to you guys for taking that and doing it.
The fact that they've been doing it for 17 years,
that's a testament.
And we still have revenue. We still have lots of really good fans, and it's always been so heartwarming because I'm a new Moxie. I mean, not necessarily now, but at the time I was a new Moxie. And even though I was new, it didn't deter people from, wanting to get to know me, being excited to see me on stage, cheering. Right. It was rewarding and, in its sense.
I love that. I mean, and so I know obviously this is where you do a majority of your shows. Do you have any aspirations and things coming up for things that you want to do and to further your career as a performer? What's upcoming for you?
Upcoming, I make my debut in Orlando with Miss Magenta Magic on June 14th. And that is, I believe, 2 weeks before Moxie's show here in Lakeland.
Great.
So Moxie's a doubleheader in June, the 28th and 29th. Miss Magenta Magic in Orlando is the 14th. And I haven't performed in Orlando yet. I haven't performed, burlesque anywhere except Lakeland. So so that's where I have upcoming, my aspirations, I would love to continue to perform with, other troops and groups and places and other stages. I would absolutely love to. And I definitely understand that that takes time. You do have to build your own repertoire of ammo to be like, hey, I promise I can get a crowd going. I can.
Right. And I mean, and that's good to, I mean, creating a reel for yourself, creating a Rolodex of acts that you have. And it'll be interesting for you because I assume then now performing in Orlando, you're going to be able to do a bit more than you would be in Lakeland.
Oh, yes. And, I'm currently building more costume pieces because unlike here, I can't go down to a thong and pasties. So we are creating I think I did make pasties already, but yeah, we are creating our thong with the tassels and the fringe and the this, that, and all the stoning. Yeah. So it's,
that's exciting.
It's a lot of building to continuously do, but I honestly think that pushes me, to create more than just the standard pieces in burlesque. It gives me more of an option of, hey, I got to get creative with, what I'm showing. Gail Bright of Moxie as well. She's she's from Fort Myers, Sarasota area. She got us all really thinking that, hey, we can just use nude bras, nude little triangle bras, and that is, you're covered, you're completely covered, but it's a total mind fuck. It's like, well, is she naked? Is she naked?
I mean, that's a great point. And I've seen people try little runarounds. I actually have a funny story kind of about that. I think I've told it on the podcast before, but one of my great friends, and actually who's responsible for me being in burlesque, my great friend Maven Misbehaven, is a great performer, and she and I performed together for years. And I've always told the story about how she faked me out once, and I had a fucking huge panic attack because if you go down to Nipples here in Florida, like, I mean, you're probably going to get in trouble maybe if somebody like rats you out, but we do our best to, if there's a nip slip or a pasty gets popped, whatever, we quickly hold up. She, before a show, did not tell me that she had pasties that looked like nipples. So and I was playing for one of our shows in the band, and I look up and I see nipples. I'm like, what the fuck? And then, but nobody was like, there was no concern from the band. Everybody knew. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, these yeah, and like it's interesting to see like the workarounds for that. And as you said, like it's 50% of boob, 50% of ass. I want to know the enforcement officer that's going to come in and go, all right, let's see the ass, let's figure out what 100% of the ass is, and then determine what 50% of that person's said ass is. And like, so my thought process is, okay, you said 50% of ass. Well, does that mean that I can have one ass cheek covered and the other ass cheek not? Can I have one tit open and one tit not? Like, I mean, that's 50% technically of all the titty and booty involved. So like, I don't know. It kind of boggles my mind a little bit how these laws work with consenting adults, but hey, that's just me.
Me too, because I mean, at the end of the day, how did we get here?
I know. It doesn't make much sense, but like, hey, whatever. Call your local congressman. Tell him, hey, listen, I want to see tits in Lakeland. Yeah,
vote. If you can vote, please.
Yes, exactly. And but I do agree though that, like you said, it gives the training that you've had working with Moxie and working in this sort of situation has made it has maybe made you even more of a well-rounded performer to not just rely on the shock of a reveal. And right. I've seen far too many burlesque performers kind of fall into that trap where their main gimmick is, hey, just look at my tits. And they don't really, which is also fine. I'm not dogging on that necessarily.
Right.
Because some people can, like Frankie can make her tits individually bounce one on the other. That's always been my favorite thing that she can do is make one each move by themselves.
It's incredible.
But like, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite acts I've ever seen. But like with some folks, they'll just rely on, oh, look, explosion. I have great tits. instead of thinking of the theatricality that goes into the costume design, goes into the act creation, goes
Yes.
into like the plot of these acts. And I know that you guys have to rely on that more because you once again don't have that immediate shock value that some others
Right.
do. And so like, I mean, and I've seen videos of your performances and I've been to Moxie's shows before. It's been years, but now that you're involved in other folks that I know, I'm going to be going out there more. But like it's cool to see the themes that you guys do. I always love whenever the new poster comes out because I'm like, oh, this is a fun theme. I loved your last one.
Yes.
And like it's very clever and creative, and that's kind of what really burlesque and this sort of entertainment should be.
Right. It's fun and creative, but it's also very vague. So the themes are always broad in a spectrum because there's so many of us that we do have to be careful that we're not doing the same things. So we are constantly vetting with each other. Hey, I want to do this song. Is anyone who's doing something like this? Like, this is the concept I want to go with. What are we doing? I really lucked out with Moxie because I've heard other stories of other troops.
Yeah.
That are not fun and not of a family sense. Moxie La Femme is 100% like a family. If you're a Moxie, you're a Moxie. Like, you're Moxie for life. And they won't hesitate to help a fellow Moxie, even outside of burlesque. Like, I've got, some personal things going on in my civilian life. And they are more or less essentially, some of them I've known for 10 years, and some of them I've only known for the last however long I've been in Moxie. But it doesn't matter almost, pretty much how long I've known them. They're still willing to, drop a hat to give me a call if I need it, or meet up if, I do have burly questions, or if I need, some help with something in my house. There's no limit to what these awesome individuals will do, as far as helping each other. And it's very refreshing because...
And you can see in the shows and how well the shows are that group of people all connect with each other.
Right. And we've got such a great bond. It's a beautiful thing. When I say I love the burlesque community, I 100% mean that I do love Moxie La Femme. And, Moxie, they're great people. Buttercup Sunset, Ramcat Jackson, they explode all over Florida. Love them. No pun intended.
Oh, yeah. Ramcat is on my list for as a guest. I've back when Maven and I had our Talk and Tassels podcast, we had which was a burlesque show, which actually still does exist out on the airwaves. We ended it last year because Maven moved away, but eventually we'll be coming back, folks. So stay tuned. But we spoke with Ramcat. He's been one of my favorite people for a very long time as an MC, as a fellow MC, one of my absolute favorites to ever see do shows. And it's good to see that camaraderie that exists between new performers and existing performers too, because a lot of new performers end up noping out of the business if they're mistreated or you have some performers who are super hoity-toity. We're like, I've been in this business for 10 years, go fuck yourself.
Right.
I hate when people are like that. I'd rather them be nurturing. I'd rather them be, encourage creativity and help people out when they need it.
Yes. And there is no one I could think of better suited for that definition than Buttercup Sunset, because even before I became Ruby Rubright, I was Roxy Codone, and that was given to me by Danny Panic. We were sitting in Club Main Street in the back bar. Now, Club Main Street had a lot of different rooms and bars, and there was like almost a different theme in every room. It was awesome. It was honestly R.I.P. Club Main Street. But anyway,
that's super cool.
We were at the back bar, and I was like, I can't think of a name. Like, I feel like I'm not that clever. Like, what do you think? And he's like, Roxy Codone. That's it. And I was like, yeah, I bring the party everywhere I go. That's awesome. So
that's funny. That's hilarious.
That was who I was for a while. And even though I wasn't like necessarily per se in the burlesque community. I was still a part of the performing community, and Buttercup Sunset and Ramcat Jackson were two people who were in the burlesque community who were always supportive of me in the crowd. So I would see them in crowds that I was performing to as my little Roxy Codone performer. So I always felt like if I wanted, like, going for Moxie wouldn't be something completely out of my realm. It wouldn't be something that I would be, shunned from, or no, you're not good. You're only a drag queen. You can't come. Like, it wouldn't be anything like that. I felt accepted even before I went for it. So I feel like that was also a good catalyst in my joining.
Great. Well, this has been a very positive towards Moxie conversation, and I allow it because I think they're great. So I hope to have more of them on soon. And I know they're all great people. I've worked with many of them that you have mentioned tonight, and some of the nicest people. So that's great. All right. I'm going to move on to some rapid fire questions. You don't have to think too much about these. Just tell me the first thing that comes to mind. If nothing comes to mind, tell me to fuck off and pass, and we'll go to something different. So we're going to do some rapid fire questions about you as a burlesque performer and performer in general. Now, I know you've done a lot of things, even outside of burlesque. Funny enough, one of the connections that you and I have, the very first show you and I ever did together was the Murder Mystery show last year, which I was so glad that you were a part of the original cast of. And we had a great time, and you were amazing. And I'm glad that you made the trek all the way from Lakeland to be a part of our show, which was wild. And I'm glad you were there.
Much fun.
It was so cool. And we will eventually be bringing it back someday. I don't know an exact time, but Taryn and I shelved it for a little while so we could get the creative juices flowing again. But I will tell you, the show is at some point, hopefully, maybe, I cannot speak in certainties, but she and I have talked about it recently about how we would love to kind of get back to rewriting it again and giving it another shot. And Aspirations is like, please, God, bring the show back, because it was the most successful show they've ever done there. So it was
so much fun and interactive.
Yes, it was so interactive, and it was so fun, and you were great. So I know you've done obviously theater and burlesque. So now we're just gonna dive into a little bit more and ask you some fun questions about your performance life. I always love to ask this next question because everybody's got a different answer. What is the most outrageous thing, malfunction, or something that's happened to you during a show that you had to recover from?
Okay, so back when I was in the Polk County or Lakeland lipstick players group for Rocky, one of our lead roles, he was in and out of vomiting. We think he was very drunk. It was not a good time, but the entire cast was kind of thrown off because I think it was the first night of the two nights that they do here, which was insane because half the time I was left responsible for watching this boy who is very sick, who was riffraff. So I mean, kind of on character, but like it was not a very good time. So that would have to be something.
So you had to come in and save that person and kind of like just take care of them in that situation?
Yes. Actually, there was another time where drama, we love drama, but
we love drama.
What theater group wouldn't have drama? I mean, come on. Theater
it's a
drama.
It's a part of the appeal.
They did some really crazy stuff to our director. It was very catty in this year, and it was actually my last year. They had thrown me from being magenta into being Columbia last minute.
Quick, easy transition, I guess.
I didn't really have much of my Columbia costume because the last time I had worn it was 2019, and here we were 2022, 21.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, I don't really have this, but we'll get it together somehow.
Make it happen.
Very fun, weird times.
Yeah, no, I know when those situations come up, I've had to jump in last minute to play roles before. It is a thing, but that's why you get understudies. That's why you get people who are ready to go. And I'm glad that you were able to jump right on in and do that.
Even someone who was not an appointed understudy. Crazy.
Hell yeah. So let's see what else here. Let's see. When it comes to, okay, I love, this is a fun question, and sometimes people have answers for it and sometimes they don't. If burlesque had its own Olympics, what event do you think you would dominate, or what do you think your signature move would be?
Something very jazzy with my trumpet. I love growling on my trumpet. That's
I'll
something
make that. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Do you use a mute of some
raunchy.
sort?
Oh, yeah. So the easiest and best sounding, don't even spend your money on these mutes that they put out. They say you're supposed to use. No, you want to go to any hardware store. You want to get a plunger.
Plunger? Yeah,
plunger.
yeah, I knew I liked you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Fucking plungers are great.
All you need.
Mm-hmm. I have seen people use plungers in orchestras, and I'm like, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Let's do that blue collar version of the trumpet. That's amazing.
So good. It's so good. And you don't think a plunger as a instrument piece, but it is. We use it.
No, it's great. And I mean, honestly, it's also less potential to fuck up the trumpet because it's rubber, and sometimes mutes are expensive and they are heavy and they could dent your instruments if you don't use them right. So that's great. And honestly, as you keep saying this, the first thing that fucking comes to my mind, as cliche as it is we should do a trio act from Gypsy and do Gotta Get a Gimmick, because I think that would be hilarious and we could have you jump. Okay, I'm getting so many ideas tonight. Why are you doing this to me? You're gonna make it so fucking difficult for me to have. I have so many things. Oh man, I've always actually wanted to do that number because I know we could get somebody. Obviously, you could be the trumpeter. We could get somebody that has the light up costume, and then what's the other one? Trumpet. Gotta shit. It's a trumpet. It's light up, and then I think it's just it's ballet. All right, yeah. I know we could get 3 people that could do that. Anyway, and you'll be one of them. Sorry, fucking tangent. All right, let's see. So we talked about how I want to know how you came up with your Ruby Rubright name.
Well, I had seen someone online with the last name Rubright. Well, from what how I pronounce it, Rubright. It was probably Rubright from what they say it, how they say it. Right. I don't even remember her first name, but I was like, Rubright, that's hilarious. I was like, what can I use? What word can I use before that? And I was like, Ruby. It's like what is it? Onomatopoeia, where it's like the same sound over and over again. Is that how it's like? Yeah. So I was like, I believe Ruby Rubright, and then
that's good.
It's kind of stuck. I've also had this other name ever since I kind of put it in there because I love kangaroos. All right, they have pouches. All right, that's just
they do.
That's very comfortable, and the fact that they look so mean, but they really aren't like that mean. Of course, they get attitude, but I do too. Sure. So whatever. Right. So I've also thought of the name. Kangaroo.
Okay. Easy enough.
It's another name, but no, that one didn't really stick very well. But
you are Ruby Rubright, and when I was introduced to you, I think the very first time I met you, oh god, I might be wrong here. I think it was Hard Heart, one of the Hard Heart shows. I think I met you. I knew of you, and I think we were friends.
The Palladium.
Was it the Palladium?
Downstairs, yeah, with Michelle LaBelle was there. Cersei was there. This was Carmen Carnelian's first show down here.
I think that was maybe my third one. Okay, gotcha. All right, that's great.
Volume 3.
All right, damn, that was a long. Well, not really long. I think it was like 22 July. I think July. I don't know. Those dates fucking are long gone and hard to remember. But yeah, I'm glad you came to that.
Somebody will remember.
Of course. Somebody will be like, I'll get a text message. Oh, it was on this day, on this time. Yeah, no, that's amazing. I'm glad you came to that. Yeah, and obviously once we met and I saw your stuff, I'm like, all right, got to work with you. And then obviously Murder Mystery, and then here we are. All right, let's see. what let's see, let's do one more. No, because I know you've mostly done with Moxie. We have asked the question before. Describe the most unexpected location that you've ever performed in. I'll give you some stories, at least on my end, and maybe this will spur some for you. I used to do shows. I was in a Blues Brothers tribute band, and one time we did a show at a fruit stand in Fruitville in Sarasota, and 8 people showed up. And they didn't show up for the show. They just happened to be browsing the fruit stand. And we did a 1-hour Blues Brothers show in front of customers shopping for produce. Have you had any, in your performance career at all, have you had any performances that have been in an interesting spot?
Actually, so outside of, stage performing, I have been a part of Dreams Come True Entertainment, which is a character company, event special company. So I've had the privilege to be a couple of different princesses and fairies and pirates and things, mermaids as well. The strangest for me was, let's see, singing as Anna and Elsa. So one of the Moxies, Ophelia Sunshine of Moxie La Femme, she owns Dreams Come True Entertainment. And I met her originally back in 2015 when my first year of Rocky. And it was something to do with after rehearsal. And she was saying she needed, a sister. And I was like, I would love to be your sister. And she was like, okay, well, let's try you out and we'll see how it goes. And after that first, I did one photo shoot. She loved the way I looked. She gave me one birthday party to try out. And, what happened at this birthday party? This is my very first birthday party.
And you were as Anna, I assume?
I was Anna.
Because I was like, there's no way that you are not playing Anna. That's
Who else?
Who else but a fellow ginger would be playing Anna. I get it. Yeah.
It was fun, but it was my first time. So I was, just getting to learn everything. And, we play this game. It's a snowball fight game. And so we have these plush snowballs that are fuzzy and have these iridescent plastic pieces that spiral out of this ball. And it's my instruction that I give to the children that we don't hit anyone in the face because we're here to have fun. You can't have fun if your face is cold and frozen from the ice because, before you throw your ball, you have to blow your magic onto the ball and pack it down really tight so it'll go very far. You want your snowball to go as far as it can go. So after you do that, you make sure you're not hitting anyone in the face, and then you let them go. And this little boy missed that step and right to the eye.
Ooh, right to your eye?
Right to my eye.
Oh my God.
Right to my eye in the middle of this birthday party. And we sing after we have our fun, of course. And so I'm singing, smiling. Do you
want to build a snowman? Yeah.
I do. My eyelash, I could feel it, blowing in the breeze. And I'm crying, just one eye full of tears. And
oh no.
It was a good time. I passed the test run of birthdays because obviously I did not lose it, being hit in the eye. So I think it was a strong start into my princessing start.
I think it's interesting because a lot of folks don't, especially when they talk to fellow performers, or they don't know how immersive entertainment works and how immersive entertainment can be absolutely fucking bonkers. You never know what's going to happen to you. Like, for example, when I was doing the Dali gig a couple weeks ago, me and my friend Jessica were literally just sitting on these like little benches and couches that they had in the middle of the Dali 360 dome. They had this gigantic dome at the Dali. I don't know if have you ever been to it before or heard of it?
I have not, but I've seen tons of picture and video.
Okay, if you ever want to go, let me know because I'll take you. It is absolutely fucking wild. You can. I was singing like crazy. It was one of the most acoustically perfect spots I've ever been in. But anyway, we were laying there, and people would just come up to me and start like rubbing me, and feeding me grapes like out of their palm of their hand, and like touching. And I was like, in most cases, I would be against it, but this was kind of the role that I was supposed to play, and I was fine with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever, not a big deal. Nobody's assaulting me or anything. But like, immersive entertainment is a very weird beast because there's really no script unless like they've given you the basics to speak off of.
Mm-hmm.
But like, especially if you're acting as a character, as you guys would be, acting as Anna and Elsa, like you've got to have that certain like feel, and if something goes wrong,
you have to stay magical. You have to give the most magical answer. And especially the reason why Dreams Come True Entertainment is even still running today is because of its value of keeping to the magic. So I can't go on to my social medias, post myself as Anna and be like, oh, I'm Anna. Like, you can't do that. You have to,
right.
Anna had a lot of fun today. Thank you to Dreams Come True Entertainment for, continuing the party. We made so much magic, that kind of stuff. And you really have to stick to things that your character would say.
Preserve the magic.
Right. After one birthday party, this was back in 2019 after Frozen 2 came out. Wild hype. It was great. Party went well. I mean, of course, this was like a thunder and lightning day, so it was downpouring. Fun time. So we were stuck inside. Not a big deal. Well, we are finished with our hour of party time, and we're trying to leave. These children, they pull me into their playroom, and no big deal. Whatever. I'm going to say goodbye to you, and this is a wonderful play castle. I love your palace. No, these kids, let's eat her. And I was like, eat me? And they, another kid said, well, no, she has to be dead first. And then another kid's like, yeah, we'll take out her heart. And I was like, what? I said, well, not mine. I said, well, you can't have my heart. And it's like, my heart belongs to Kristoff, and he's back at the castle. We have to go.
That is a workplace advisory that not many people have to deal with. Like, by the way, you might be led into a room full of children that want to eat your heart. Yeah, probably not something on the Indeed job description for that role.
No.
That is crazy.
Yeah, like, what do you say to that? No, you have to, like, even so, you have to stick to your magic. And even when older kids who don't really care so much about the magic anymore, they're gonna, that's not your real hair. We're like, oh yeah, but I really worked on my hair this morning. Like it feels like my real hair. I mean, and then you just pretend you're pulling your hair. Like, it's totally my real hair.
You stick to your script no matter what. I've done Santa gigs before where kids will be like, that's not your beard. I'm like, you ain't getting anything for fucking Christmas, you little shit. Get out of my... leave. No, I get it. All right. So I have a few more questions I want to ask, but now we're going to pivot a little bit. We're going to pivot from Ruby the performer to Ruby the human. And I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions about you, and so people can learn about the real you a little bit more. So some of these will be very basic questions. Some of these will be just for funsies. So let's start with a couple basic ones. What is your favorite season?
My favorite season? I actually have two. I love fall and I love spring. And that is because I always feel a sense of change in those times. Autumn is, I feel like it's more of a quieter time for me personally, even though like I do have so much going on, like in my real personal, like in real life, like performing and non-performative, there's a lot going on, but it's the air of the time in the atmosphere. It's just different, and it really makes me feel very melancholy, nostalgic. I'm not sure. And I feel that same way in springtime. And it's a very weird feeling. Like if I'm driving, I really don't like driving on I-4, so I'll take a lot of back roads. And in these back roads, I'm going through Plant City. I'm going through, whatever's after that. I cannot tell you.
Yeah, I know that route too well. So yeah.
Yes. But it's something about those roads back there, with those mailboxes, and like, I don't know, it's sort of like an old time country, old feeling, but not like that kind of old country, but like the feel good old country.
I know, trust me, I know exactly how you're, and I'm actually going to be, I think, up to Lakeland on Wednesday. So I know that route, and I know those back roads, and hell yeah. And you know, I completely understand that you and I are very similar there. Mine are fall and winter, because I just love that time. And I'm a large polar bear style man, so I appreciate the cooler time. And that's actually my next question. Would you rather be cold or rather be hot?
I would rather be cold. I actually had to go online and specify that I cannot schedule, or I will not be accepting any more traveling daytime photo shoots, specifically photo shoots. Gigs and stuff obviously don't happen in the middle of the day, so I'm not really worried about that. But I don't have AC in my car, first and foremost. Second, when I get hot, I retain the heat, and then it shows in my skin. I get all red and splotchy, and then turn into an oily, sweaty mess. And why would you want that for your photo shoot art? I don't.
And you want to feel comfortable too. You don't want to be uncomfortable when you're doing these very like intimate style things. You want to make sure that you're, you know, feeling the right way. So I saw you post that. I'm like, you know what? You're the real MVP for that, because I feel the same fucking way. If I have to go do a gig in the middle of a day and I've got to load in and out of piano in 98-degree heat in the middle of a no, fuck that. I would much rather be cold. I have a stupid story. When I for the last couple of years, not last year, but the year prior and the year prior to that, I played in New York City during New Year's Eve for the ball drop. I played at Piano Bar in the middle of Times Square, and the day that we left the next day, and I left our hotel wearing a t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops, and it was 18 degrees outside. Now, mind you, I got violently ill after that, because I'm a stupid idiot that decided to do that. But I'm like, I can get warm, but I can't get cold. So if I want to add stuff on, that is a lot easier than having to strip in the middle of Times Square.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, I'm glad that you and I are on the cold camp there. So whenever you come to my house, it'll be 64 degrees. All right. What is describe a moment in your life, and this is going to be a quick and easy one. Describe a moment in your life where you have felt super fulfilled and super happy with what you were doing.
Super happy and super fulfilled.
The answer is right now on this podcast, The Burley Nathan Show, available on Spotify and iTunes. Yeah.
Happy and fulfilled. You know what? I'm just going to go with the most recent. I've been having some personal strife in, you know, my life. I'm in my late 20s, and anyone who, you know, is currently going through that or has gone through that knows that transition kind of sucks. It's a lot of learning and unlearning. And that's really what, you know, life is about, is learning and unlearning. And so for the past couple of months, I've kind of been a recluse in myself, and not really opened up to really, you know, friends or anyone close to me enough. So I've kind of just let things build. And so the other day, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being home. Let me just see who can go out to dinner tonight. So it was actually one of the Moxies. They texted me, and they're like, what are you? I'm in town. I was like, well, let's go get dinner. And they're like, yeah. So we did. And yeah, it was a bunch of Moxies. And I really just opened up to a room of my friends about, you know, what's happening, going on, you know, with me and my life, and how I'm feeling and how it's affecting me, and how sometimes I just feel so stupid. And don't we all sometimes, you know? And it really was very fulfilling to do that, and to be vulnerable, and to open up and receive, you know, help and guidance in, you know, aspects that I really needed, that I was struggling in. And the way that they, push and all of the extra support that comes with performing outside of Moxie, because sometimes it's just, you can't do everything yourself, and you do sometimes need an outside friendly force to really continue the drive. And
that's helpful to have. Yeah, yes. I mean, honestly, as you've described them as a very good support system for any performer and any person in general, I can imagine that being with those folks would be a good thing to have. So yeah, no, that's great. Yes. I love that. Sometimes you just need a little out day and a night out with some friends to really just, send you over the edge in a good way.
Yes. And something I've struggled with, with it myself is feeling alone. And that feeling is heavily squashed being in this troupe. And
hell yeah,
that's the most beautiful thing.
I love it. Great. So here's another question. So can you describe a time in your life? Now this can be performing, this can be in your regular civilian life. Is there a time when you felt out of your comfort zone, and how did you adapt to that?
Comfort zone.
Something that you maybe like tried out and weren't sure about, or something along those lines.
You know what? I find a lot of the stuff that I do that ends up being successful always, first and foremost, feels out of my comfort zone. But it's not because it's something that I am good at, but because I've got this little voice in here that doesn't shut up sometimes, makes me feel like I'm not good enough, or, I'm being ridiculous and I shouldn't be trying this. And of course, most of that is all performative. So it all relates to, performing and being good enough.
The imposter syndrome sometimes.
Yes.
Of being with a group. Yeah. I feel that all the time. And I know even the most seasoned performers feel that way. I've been in shows before and I've been performing for 25 years. Like I know that I can do it, but I'll be in the room with somebody who's really good and I'll be like, I don't want to do anything in front of, I've felt intimidated when I've met lots of burlesque performers and people who I've been in the same room with, and I'm like, God, how am I able to be in here with you? But I think, well, we're all in this together, so like,
right.
Not that quote High School Musical, but like here we are.
Yeah, and that was kind of my experience with trying to join Moxie. It wasn't something that I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get in. No, it was I had seen some of the other performers who showed up, like Gail Bright, gorgeous. How could I compare? How can I compete? You can't compete. No one compares. It's not about comparing or competing. It's about what you can bring to the troupe. And because I brought my trumpet and my song, actually the number I auditioned with to get in Moxie is this number that I will be doing at Miss Magenta's show here in June.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A longtime goal of mine, because I love dance so much. And that's something that is a repeat, comment that I hear from, people after these Moxie shows. These people come up to me and be like, wow, you can really dance. And I'm like, thank you. I need that sometimes. Thank you.
That reassurance, sometimes it helps to keep going.
Yes. And because I love dance so much, and because trumpet to me is such a universal instrument, because it's not just a classical instrument. It's not just a jazz instrument. It's not just a hip hop instrument. Like, it can be used in all kinds of genres and feelings. Like, you can get so much out of a trumpet. There's only so much you can get out of a clarinet. I've always wanted to put those two together, where I dance and play my trumpet. And it's always kind of been something that I really wanted to do. But back when I started in the drag scene, I wasn't exactly sure how to put those two together. It took a lot of just listening around to different songs and watching a lot of other performers and other festivals and things, and trying to get a feel. There's another performer, burlesque performer. I cannot remember her name, but she also plays trumpet and does her dance. And I was like, yes, like, that's it. That's what I'm trying to do. So
I mean, I hate to necessarily be cliche and once again quote the great musical by Stephen Sondheim and oh my god, what's his name? Oh my god, I feel like a terrible musician right now for not knowing the other writer of Gypsy. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. But anyway, you got to get a gimmick, and that is great. And what's the tune that you do?
I did It's Been a Long, Long Time by Kitty Callan and yeah.
Oh, I love that song.
So I sing it, and I also I start out playing my trumpet, and then I sing it, and then I take everything off. And when
Delightful.
when I did that for the audition, I could feel my voice was really shaky. Now, granted, I had worked with a lot of them, you know, in the Fringe Festival and in other, you know, things in town, not burlesque related, but, you know, I'd been a performer in the scene for, you know, years on end at this point. So it wasn't like I wasn't known already. They hadn't seen me before, but it was still something to me. I was like, oh my God, I didn't think I really, you know, did that well in that audition. Oh God. But it all worked out.
That comes in. Yeah. And yes. I mean, honestly, like I had somebody, I can't remember what show it was. I think it was one of my last Hard Heart shows. One of the performers asked me backstage, are you nervous before you go on? And I'm like, yeah. Like, even before an audition or before a show, like, I feel like, oh my God, excuse me. If a performer doesn't have a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of stage fright before they go on, they might be a little too comfortable. Yeah, they might be a little too comfortable because there's always that little anxious feeling like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I feel that like when I do shows at Hard Heart or any of those where they have like a curtain that I wait for my cue and then blast through the middle. I'm always like, right before I'm like, fuck, who am I? What am I? Why do I think I'm capable of doing this? Why the fuck am I here? Oh my God, imposter syndrome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Like, even before I start an episode of this podcast, I'm like, why the fuck would anybody want to listen to my stupid ass talk? But then I'm like, okay, maybe I should just be a bit more confident. And I think that's just how it is with any performer. And I'm glad that you are able to push through that. And one of my biggest things that I love, and you probably know this about me, is I love burlesque performers who also either play an instrument or sing. And because that for me, like when I go, I'm very much theatrically minded, where when I go see a show, I want to see shit that I haven't seen before. So a singing, trumpet playing burlesque performer, I'm like, fucking sign me up. How many times can I see you in a week? Like, is it possible to, you know, see you every night? Like that sort of stuff is great. And I hope more people, you know, will listen to this and go, oh, I should book her, because like that sort of stuff is very unique for certain shows. And I love that you have embraced the knowledge that you already had of an instrument and then integrated that into this art form. I think that's great. Yes.
And I'm still looking for other songs that even compare or on par with, you know, that one. That's the only one I've got so far, you know, as far as playability, singability, and stripability.
Well, hey, jazz standards are the way to go. And you know what? You and I are going to have a sidebar conversation after the show in the coming weeks, because I got some ideas. You are making my brain reel. And I'm so sorry that you said this. Like I said earlier, you done fucked up. Thanks for showing me what you can do. Anyway, all right. Well, we are running up against the clock because an hour zips by really fucking fast when these conversations are amazing. For my folks that do not follow you and that want to, how can they not only follow you, but I also like to drop tip out information. So if you have any of that, how can somebody follow you and how can somebody send you dollar bills if they want to?
Yes. So you can follow me on @ms.rubyrubright. So it's ms.rubyrubright. That's on Instagram, and that is also my Cash App handle as well. Speaking of Cash App, if you'd like to donate to the new Mouthpiece Fund, because I somehow have misplaced my sweet mouthpiece, but I also have learned that I don't know why I didn't put this together before, but they are made of lead. Yes, mouthpieces are made of lead.
Man,
Help
if only
me.
they would have innovations against that now.
Right.
Good Lord.
Help me. Well, I've already bought my new mouthpiece, but if you'd like to donate to that fund, because it's a pricey fund, there is Bach now makes lead-free mouthpieces. Now, not all mouthpieces are the same. You really have to find the specific one for the style of trumpet playing you are doing. So it's not like I can just buy a 3C and expect it to sound great, or a 5C and expect it to sound. It won't. There's different tenors and tunes and depths to a mouthpiece. I've already picked out the one that I need for performance that is lead free. So if you would like to keep me healthy and keep this thing going, please. The Cash App is actually not Miss.Ruby-Rubright. It is just Ruby Rubright. One word altogether, Ruby Rubright.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, please.
Nice.
Would enjoy
All right.
that.
Well, good. Yes, please donate to the new lead-free mouthpiece fund, because I do not need my friends getting lead poisoning. So do me the biggest favor
Stop the
and do
stare.
that. All right, my dear. Well, thank you so much for being here. It has been an absolute pleasher. Thanks for being on my first episode back after the break.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Joy. Of course.
11 is
anytime.
my favorite number. This is the 11th podcast, right?
This is
Yes,
the 11th
11.
episode.
That's my number, is 11, so I love
Fuck
that.
yeah. The universe made this happen for both of us, and I'm glad that it did. All
Yes,
right,
indeed.
my dear. Well, thank you very much for being here. Folks, make sure to follow Ruby Rubright everywhere you possibly can, on Instagram, on all the places, and support her. And go see Moxie LaFemme over in Lakeland, and you can follow Ruby Rubright and get all the upcoming show information for all the Moxie shows. And if you ever want to go to one of those shows and you're in the area, let me know. I'll go with you, and we will support everybody together. Well,
Not
my
bad.
dear,
You'll
thank
see
you
me
so
too.
much. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you all so much for listening to episode 11 of the Burly Nathan Show. Once again, if you want to support the show, you can do so by going to adamandeve.com, buying all the sexy, amazing things that they have there, and make sure to use promo code BURLY, BURLY, at checkout. Next episode is with my great friend, another Ruby, and I'm collecting gems now.
Yay!
I'm collecting all the gems. Every Ruby I can find, I actually know so many Rubies in this business. There's Ruby Tesla, there's Ruby Rubright, there's Ruby Vesper, which is a great friend of mine here in the Tampa Bay area. She's amazing. She was actually one of the very first burlesque performers I ever worked with. Lots of great Rubies that exist in this burlesque world. So once again, follow Ruby Rubright. You'll see next episode 12 with Ruby Tesla, episode 13 with Miss Magenta Magic. I am your host and MC, Burly Nathan. Once again, thank you so much for listening to episode 11 of the show. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me. Bye.